"You can't be serious," he barked, his face a blistering red, as if the veins in his neck were seconds from rupturing. I didn't flinch, just smiled, soft and practiced. "Congrats to Lily," I said. "She earned it." I left the letter on the edge of his mahogany desk, perfectly aligned with the corner, just how he likes things. Clean, controlled, deceitfully elegant, like him. That office used to smell like ambition. Now it reeked of cowardice and lavender perfume. 3 years ago, I walked in wearing borrowed heels and a $60 suit that still had the tag tucked into the sleeve. He interviewed me personally. God, no, but because I was family. My husband Daniel sat beside him like a golden retriever, nodding at every compliment his father gave me. "She's a hard worker," Daniel had said. "She'll be loyal," his father replied, eyes fixed on me. To us. I should have heard the warning in that. Back then, I thought loyalty was currency. That if I worked harder than everyone else, skipped vacations, answered 2 a.m. emails, I'd be seen, respected, maybe even loved. They didn't see me. They used me. It started with missed meetings. Suddenly, I wasn't CC'd on key emails. Then my projects were handed off. To her, Lily, fresh out of grad school, still calling spreadsheets Excels. She laughed too loud, called my father-in-law Uncle Richie, sat in meetings like she was in a TikTok vlog. But she had one thing I didn't, a last name that matched his, and legs he watched a little too long. At first, I told myself I was paranoid, overworked, misreading things, until I found the draft folder on his assistant's computer. Her promotion letter, signed, dated, 2 weeks before the announcement, before my final quarterly report, the one I stayed up 3 nights perfecting, before he looked me in the eye and said, "No decisions have been made." That was the moment something in me clicked. I didn't cry. I counted. 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, 168 weekends gone. 3 years. For nothing. No, not nothing. For this. People expect rage, but rage is loud, predictable. I chose silence, stillness, a scalpel over a hammer. First, I backed up every file I ever touched. Proof of my work, my innovations, even the ones they credited to other people. Then I started asking questions, innocent ones, quietly, to HR, to accounting. I learned how the contracts were structured, who actually owned the patents, what his severance terms were. I rewrote my resignation 10 times. Not for drama, precision. Then I applied for 3 jobs. Quietly, at firms that competed directly with his, firms that he'd rejected as beneath us. 2 offers came back in less than a week. I accepted the one run by a woman who'd once been publicly humiliated by him during a merger. She remembered me, said, "I always wondered when you'd wake up." Back to the office, back to his desk. He's pacing now, reading my letter for the 3rd time. "You're not thinking clearly," he says, voice grating. "I've never thought more clearly," I reply, standing. His phone rings. He ignores it. He's too focused on controlling the narrative, like always. But I'm not his narrative anymore. I step toward the door. "You'll regret this," he snaps. I pause. "Maybe, but you'll regret it longer." And I leave. No slamming doors, no last looks. What he didn't know, what no one knew, was that I took more than just memories with me. Lily's promotion? Publicly announced. Loudly. So when the quarterly board meeting came and the numbers from my department tanked because they'd handed it to a child playing CEO dress-up, there was no buffer. He had to explain why the firm's most profitable division was suddenly hemorrhaging clients. Turns out, clients don't like nepotism. They liked me. And I took 5 of them with me. Quietly. Legally. Meticulously. Daniel called me last week, said his father was under stress, asked if I'd consider talking, helping. I laughed. I hadn't laughed in months. Then I hung up. Lily's already on leave. They're calling it stress. But I heard she cried in the executive bathroom, said she didn't sign up for this. She's right. She didn't. But I did, and I finished the job. I don't regret the late nights. I regret thinking they were investments instead of warnings. But now I sleep. And when I close my eyes, I don't see the office, or him, or Daniel. I see fire. Controlled, contained, beautiful. I didn't burn the building down. I just rewired the fuse box. Then I handed them the match and smiled.